Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Vagrus, the Riven Realms. I'm your host, Colors Fade, and it's episode 2. We are in Torzag's shelter city. We have some biz to take care of here. In addition to that, we gotta figure out what our next work is gonna be. So here are the factions. Now, here's what's really interesting. It says not enough resourcefulness to use this talent of ours. We talked about this last time. We have this ability to use exploit. You can use resourcefulness to re-roll available contracts in settlements. What's really interesting is I started another character basically just like this one with 4 resourcefulness as well, and it can do this. So I would really like some clarification from the developers on how this works. Like right here where it says, here is a really good case of user interface feedback and what we call UX, user experience. It says not enough resourcefulness. That's not descriptive enough. You could very easily say you need 5 resourcefulness, minimum of 5 or something. Be more specific with your data so that the users like me aren't sitting here going, okay, in a different game, I have 4 resourcefulness and I can click this button. But in this game, I can't. Why is that? In fact, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. So real quick, this is one of my other save files. My character has the same exploit, 4 of 12 resourcefulness. And over here, the button's not purple. It's not lit up. But it was, and that's why I used it. And that's why it says cannot be used for 1 day. There's a cooldown on using it. So here I have a character that I've created that has the same amount of resourcefulness, and I was able to do this. I was able to do it in Torzag's shelter, I guess. And I'm waiting, and I'm in this city of Lumen, and then another day I'll be able to do it again. So I don't understand. In fact, here's what we're gonna do, just to see. We're gonna rest. I don't care about this save game right now. Just gonna end the day. Okay. Now we're going to go over here, and there it is. It's available. Costs 4 resourcefulness and can be done every 7 days. So would someone at the development group for this video game please like to explain to me why my other save can't do this? We're going to go look at that one directly. And so here it is, my other save. Not enough resourcefulness, but I have 4. And why it doesn't say costs 4 resourcefulness, costs 5 or whatever. Why can't I do this? So this is my first big frustration with the game, because this exploit ability is kind of critical to how I plan to play this game. Because by starting as the human Tarkian with the background and adventure, I was not taking all of the reputation points that you can get maximized by choosing a different starting character. So it means it's harder for me to find initial contracts, which means I need to be able to cycle through them. So why can't I do this? So this is frustrating. But with all the frustration aside, we do have one contract here that's not ideal. It'll take us to Lumen. 15 days. The nice part here is over this UI, you can click on this and it'll take you to the map. So you can see where Torzag's and Lumen is up here at the end of this road. And it says 4 to 6 days of travel based on whether you're going to take the road or cross country and hunt. So we could do this contract. We're going to have to do this contract because the other ones kind of suck. This one will take you to Arkan, escort for the church. Arkan, you can see, is basically straight up above our positions. Crystal is over in this direction, I think. And it may even be right there. So there's that. Escorts kind of suck. What's going to happen on an escort mission is you're going to get attacked 1 time. At least this low level one right here. Encounter difficulty 61. It's not a bunch. Potential combat encounters 1. Passengers to deliver 1. The problem is it just doesn't pay much either. It's a really crummy reward. So the only time you really want to do these is if it was going to occur in here on the way there, I would consider it. But here's where you got to really watch out with this game. We have enough We have a couple of mounts. We can make 2 outriders. We have a couple of fighters and a bunch, and only 3 scouts. We're going to try to get some more scouts. We only have so many of these people, and even if we hire some more, if we were to do this mission, let's say it took place over here on the way to Lumen, and we do it, and we lose some fighters and scouts along the way, then that makes it, and you will lose people when you battle. It's a given. You're not going to save everybody. So you kind of have to plan to take more people with you than you need, because you're going to lose some on the way. Because if you lose some on the way and then you don't have enough people to handle the daily tasks and the hunting and all that kind of stuff, you won't make it to your destination. And that can really suck. So this is procure goods, and this goes to the Crimson Gate. So I was saying, where is the Crimson Gate? Oh, I thought it was here. It's way over here. It's 8 to 11 days of travel. Now, there is, from Torzag's, it's a very main road that goes up here. So that one mission, look, it's over here at this kind of wall looking thing, the Hills of Plenty. If we go back here and look at the escort mission, see, even if you tried to go straight up here and then over and took this kind of path here and got on the main road and went over here, you'd need a ton of supplies. You'd need more than we can carry to get over here, and you'd need a bunch of guys to do it. So let's just go to Lumen. Let's just take this. Now, what would be nice, failed delivery. If not delivered in 22 days, the whole cargo is deemed lost and has to be reimbursed. What would be really nice, see, it's got 2 cargo slots, is if we could take this and then press this exploit and get a whole new set of missions. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So then there are rumors, received trade news, nothing, passengers. Now here's a way to earn some additional money if people want to go to the same place that you're headed to. These people are headed to Larnak, which is not anywhere close to where we're going. And I like that they put this right here. I like this. You can see you have an icon. This is a long way away, 20 days. We'd have to have a huge team to be able to make that pull. And I mean, the pay is nothing to get excited at. This quarry, which is on the bottom side of this, so you'd have to backtrack. We definitely don't want to do that. And then the shipment of slaves in Mirage, which is right there. Huh, okay. Yeah, we're not going to do any of those. So that might be later when we have a bigger team and we can travel. And for rumors, there's nothing there. So we can rest in this city. They've already put the cargo on there. That's great. Okay. So we have to keep an eye on how many supplies we have. It says 7 days. Remember, it said 6 to 8 days to get to Lumen. And we need to buy more scouts. So the smart thing, I think, for us to do is... see, oh boy. Here's where the game is going to get you. We got an extra slot here. We can try and buy goods, but we don't know what sells in Lumen. And there's no real rumors to help us out. We look at rumors about any of this kind of stuff, or news, qualities, and there's nothing here to help us. You can go to, not the chart, this piece of information over here. This will tell you anywhere that you've been and how old the news is, what the exchange rate is. I mean, you know, what things are buying and selling for in different places. So in Torzag Shelter, you can buy bronze for 3 bras, 9, whatever those are called, in 9 changes. And you can sell it. And see, here's what I don't understand. This is the part that I just don't understand. I don't understand. So let's go to difference. Let's see if we can find one that's green. Something we take here and sell in Torzag Shelter. Buy in Torzag Shelter and sell at the other location. Right here. Okay, so mushroom beer is supposedly something that you can sell for a profit in Kernak Way Station. I don't see how that's possible, because look, it says you can buy it right now in Torzag Shelter for 6 changers, and you can sell it in Kernak Way Station for 6 changers. But it says the difference is 2. I'm not reading this chart right. I'm guessing what's saying is the difference between where you can sell it here and here is 2. So here's something I'm going to tear this piece of the video out to and put it on Twitter for the developers, because this is not helpful. I still have to do all the math. This difference thing is not helpful. This option displays price differences on the tabs compared to the pinned leftmost list. Right, which is this one. You could set it for this one. It won't pin there. Oh, I see. It's okay. It's just weird. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is not. This difference thing doesn't work the way that I think it should. Automatically, what I thought it would do is tell you, if you're buying something for here and it sells for the same amount over here, I would use a neutral color. And if you bought it for 6 changes over here and sold it for 2 changes over here, then I would expect it to say +2 here. But it doesn't. This is the same value. So this chart here with the green and the red, this means nothing to me. I still have to go through and do all the math. Well, is it smart to buy mushroom beer in Torzok Shelter and then sell it at Kurnak Way Station? No, it's not. So I would tell the developers, do this differently. This needs to be done differently. And that's why I totally did not make any sense to me. But we don't know what's for sale in Lumen. So we got a couple of choices here. We can either just grab a bunch more supplies to make sure that we can get there in time. Or we can try to take something that might be good in Lumen and we'd be guessing. One of the ways that you can guess is scroll through the list of cargo and look for things that are abundant, like dyes. There's 61 of those and there's 79 hides. Anything that this is abundant in is probably going to be something that you can sell somewhere else. There's 169 mushroom beer and 143 mushrooms, but I think we brought those with us. There's 117 pottery, so I think that might be something you could get. But you're taking a chance, so I'd rather not take a chance. And you're always going to need supplies. So what we're going to do is we're going to stay the night here. Oh, and one YouTuber that I watched who had a tutorial and this had some very good advice. It's kind of hard to make use of the way the game is structured, but he did say if supplies are being bought and sold for 2 changers anywhere, that's basically highway robbery, and you should probably try not to buy supplies. But again, because of the travel time and how far away the cities are and stuff like that, you're kind of forced to. So it's like nice information to know, but I don't know how you can reliably use it for anything. So what we're going to do is click and buy that. Now, let's go to here. Yes, we're going to rest for the night because we don't have any movement points. And we're going to plus morale, vigor, 1 nutrition. We're going to send out some people here to try to do some odd jobs and earn a couple of things. We were successful. We earned a little bit of coin. Okay. Now what we're going to try to do is buy some scouts. So they have 6 scouts here. And I said previously, what you really want to do is have the same number of scouts as you have fighters, although this won't let us exactly. Okay. So this works. We're going to want to dump some slaves here pretty soon. Yeah, let's sell some slaves. Let's sell a couple. We're watching this number down here, workforce. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm gonna leave that there. We're gonna take one more look at this to see if there are any more missions. There's not. The Crimson Gate one is gone. What's it say? Not enough free cargo space to take that one. That's right, and it's going to the Crimson Gate, which we don't care about. Escort for the church. It's in Arkan. Yeah, which we're definitely not gonna do. So that's it. We can leave the shelter. All right, we should save the game here. All right, have made a save, and now we're going to exit out of this place. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. No, we're not. No, we're not, because we still have story stuff to do. Okay. Where did we need to go with our guy here? The Undercity? What is this? Why is that one grayed out? Leave the Undercity while you still can. Oh, did we? Wait a minute. Did we already do this stuff? What do our companions look like? We don't have any companions. No, we still need to do this then. Okay, let's check our journal. Tasks, distribute, news, rumors, trade routes block, change in the winds, renowned craftsman, yeah. Looking at the pawnbroker. An old wanderer, Agos, suggested you visit his acquaintance. Braxius, the pawnbroker in Torzak's shelter. The man might be able to specialize in companions. He's in the market district. Okay, that's where. Let's go here. Seek out Braxius' store. All right. Sprawling over a dozen blocks close to the city gate, the market district is a bustling, crowded place. You can buy and sell almost anything imaginable. Anyone entering the labyrinth of stalls, shops, and bazaars is constantly bombarded by a wide range of strong smells and invaded by the competing shouts of peddlers and salesmen. You make your way to the part of the market district that lies just east of the Kalrish market. It takes a while to locate the statue of Comitatus overlooking a dried-up fountain carved of dark stone, but when you do find it, you can see that the shop is indeed right where Agos said it would be. Huddled between two taller, decrepit buildings, Braxius' storefront is not much to look at. Only his name is written on the stone slab above the doorway. No sign, no display, no stall, nothing. Inside is a dark little room with a dirty counter, a strange odor, nondescript trash that barely passes for wares, and a demonkin fellow, fiddling absent-mindedly with some gadget. He looks up as you enter. "What can I do for you?" he says with a ghoulish grin. He can't help it. He has pointed teeth, a big nose, and a crown of jagged horns that not only adorns the top of his head, but also the sides of his jaws. His eyes burn with pale orange light, and he is surrounded with an almost palpable aura of nervousness. Surely this cannot be the man you were guided to. Braxius? Oh yeah, in the flesh. Braxius bows his head theatrically. You explain to him that an old wanderer called Agos told you to come to him if you wanted to find the right people for a Comitatus. Braxius smiles his fiendish smile upon hearing your story. Indeed, I do specialize in connecting such people. I might have someone you will find very useful, even help in getting them to join you. And I owe Agos, so there. Everybody wins. All right. What's it gonna get me? What's it gonna cost me? There's a lady with a very special skill set I have in mind for you. Not only is she really good at finding her way across the wasteland, but also comes in handy in a fight and can track down basically anyone. Or so they say. She's a bounty hunter. I was told she's looking for a Comitatus to join so that she can traverse the realms and claim bounties as she does. I also heard that she may have some kind of connection to the Imperials. But you'll have to ask her about that yourself. Her name is Krifta. When you ask him what you owe him for this, he simply shakes his head. Nothing. Like I said, I owe Agos, and he told me that I can pay him back by aiding people he sends to me. Odd, right? Well, not so much, really. At any rate, I can arrange a meeting with Krifta for you. Sure. Minutes after you tell Braxius that you wish to meet this Krifta, he has closed down the shop and is leading you to where you can talk to the woman. You soon arrive at a stinking watering hole at the end of an alley somewhere between the market district and the undercity. The sign has a feeding carrion bird on it. Underneath, crooked letters spell out the name, the Grinding Gizzard. You find a quiet table in the corner while Braxius gets you a couple of drinks. By the time you finish the first, a woman walks up to you with a strange gait and greets you. Krifta looks like a cross between a human and some kind of carrion bird, clearly the result of the taint. She observes you with large, beady eyes and clacks her beak before addressing you in an almost chirping voice. So, I say you are the recruiting. Are you in need of a scout and tracker? Then I can offer my services. Krifta here has been all around the continent. She's tough as nails and knows how to hunt down beasts and even men, adds Braxius. It's true what the demon spawn says, Vagrus, but I can see that you have questions. Krifta says, clacking her beak a few times. You guys, these are supposed to be commas here. You do have questions for her. Ask away, Vagrus. About her skills and abilities. I am handy with a bow. I use it to down most of my prey, be it man or beast. She muses for a while before going on. So yes, I am a hunter, a tracker, and a survivalist. I have all the related skills. Ones that help out here the most in the Broken Lands. She is being modest, Captain. Braxius intervenes. Actually, Krifta here is quite a renowned bounty hunter and marksman. Also, a huntress like her and your crew can provide all kinds of benefits like allowing you to save on supplies. She gets you fresh food regularly. Well, that'd be great. Okay. We know that she wants to go on the road to hunt bounties. I thought it was quite obvious. My work, that of a bounty hunter, takes me across the wasteland to faraway places all the time. Prey flees and tries to hide out there, most of the time. I often travel alone, but lately I had rough encounters on the road, so I figured it is worth teaming up with others. Your Comitatus seems promising. Well then, it's time to decide. We'll take her. Take on Krifta and pay her a fee of 3 lurg. Okay. She joins our Comitatus. Excellent, she says as she pockets the coins. I'll buy rations and gear from the road with this. Also, there's a job I was offered, Vagrus. Might be interested in becoming partners? We can talk about this later. I'll meet you at the Manzio. The sooner we leave the city, the better. She leaves as you down the rest of your drink. Braxius asks you to return to his shop with him. When you arrive, he turns to you. Now that the Krifta business is taken care of, I can help you recruit another fellow. There are 2 options, in fact. Want to hear me out? All right, good. So there are 2 fellows here in Torzags that I could put you in contact with. Both have their own problems, so to say that they are trying to solve, I can help you solve the problems for them. One, that is. I can help you with one of the 2, and you'll owe me for this. You ask him about the 2 individuals in questions. One is a dwarf and a particularly nasty one, but don't get discouraged. Given the right motivation, all that nastiness can be directed towards your foes, Captain. He's a specialist when it comes to dwarfy stuff. You know, scrounging, smuggling, hoarding, business in general. And he's connected. He knows a lot of people in low places. The demonkin pawnbroker scratches the base of a horn before going on. The other one is an orc, and a tough one. He's somewhat of a celebrity around these parts. Won a few gladiator tournaments a few years ago, but then he started to train folks who wanted to become warriors rather than warrioring around himself. And I guess now he's fed up with that and wants to travel and fight again. Real champ, you know. Okay, so... I can't remember who to take, so I'm going to check something. Alright, so here's an interesting piece of advice. Somebody finally put up a thread on Reddit. Oh, not finally. I'm misspeaking there. Somebody put up a thread on Reddit, which is really nice, that has all 9 of the companions. You're made to feel like you have to choose between one of these 2, and you still don't know a lot about them. And it really comes down to what deputy roles that they're going to take as you're playing. So here's the simple fact. You can still get everybody recruited in your companions list. The person that you don't take right now, you can get a couple months later. You'll get a notification. You have a chance to get them. The person that we actually want to take right now is Garrick. He's the dwarf. Braxius gives you one of his predatory smiles. He says, good. As I've said, Garrick is a dwarf and naturally a businessman. However, his business has seen some trouble lately. So much so, Captain, that the little twerp is in deep shit. And if you want him, you need to pluck him out of it. Normally, this would mean forking over a substantial amount of coins of the silver variety to settle his extensive debts. But I can deal with that in my own way, yet in your name, and you would get the dwarf's gratitude and services. You would owe me a favor in turn, as I've indicated. All right. I will agree to your terms and get Garrick on my crew. Now we're talking, Captain. Pawnbroker claps excitedly. All right. You just go about your business. I need an hour or so to get things done. When you feel like it afterward, make your way to the old bathhouse in the Undercity. Normally, only the friends of the Loaders Guild may enter to do business with the Collegium, but tell them at the gate that you are there for Garrick. and you were sent by yours truly. They will hand over the dwarf, and you can tell him how it was you who has paid his debts. I believe that he'll need a little convincing to join your crew after that. You nod and prepare to take your leave, thanking Vagrus for his aid. Don't thank me yet, Captain. And before you forget, you owe me, and a day will come when I'll need your aid. He winks and sits down behind the counter. Alright, so we have to go to the Loader Guild in the Undercity. Well then, let's make our way there. Let's see. Go to the bathhouse, the pleasure houses. Where were we supposed to go? The bathhouse? Oh, yes, I'm here for someone. Beneath the large main caverns of Torzag Shelter is the maze of tunnels and narrow streets that lacks the civic lights of the city and is thus in perpetual darkness. Locals call it the Undercity. Its notoriety is well founded. Crime and desperation thrive in the twilight. The old bathhouse on the northeast side of the Undercity is well known as the Loaders Guild base of operations. They're the smugglers. It is a large decaying building of once beautiful marble pillars, arches, and domes, quite reflective of the fate of the Collegium, really. You make your way to the gates where a couple of rough-looking bouncers stop you. Entry only on official business, mate. Head guard lets you know without enthusiasm. Comma, guys. You guys need an editor. My editor spidey sense keeps going off. Sorry. Tell them you're here for someone. Everything changes when you mention the name of Vagrus and the fact that you are here for Garrick. The guards become friendly. And is that relief in their voices? Two of them escort you through corridors, marble halls, and hot steam rising from the baths to the back area of the storerooms and cells. There, they open a cell with iron keys and shake a smelly dwarf from his sleep. Oh, fuck now, the belligerent fellow growls as he's rubbing his eyes. Come to suck some dwarf cock. His captors are clearly not amused by his shenanigans. A quick slap to the back of his balding head silences him, though he quietly swears revenge. 'Tis the one. We're told he no longer owes the capos, so he's all yours. You are escorted back to the entrance with the dizzy dwarf in tow. Just when you are about to leave through the gate arch, the dwarf notices something and it yanks him out of his quiet stupor. He leaps surprisingly quickly to the side of one of the guards and grabs something on his belt, then tears it off. Before the guards could reach, he begins shouting, "You fucking bastards! Thought you could steal this and get away with it. I'll tear you a new one." Garrick appears to be holding some kind of object, golden and with a complicated design. The guards are shocked and getting angry, but the sight of the red-faced dwarf and the object, as well as their orders, give them pause. "Alrighty," the one who had the object in his belt says eventually. "Keep the damn thing. It ain't good for anything anyway." There was a cold, metallic click echoing down the marble corridor. A moment of silence follows. The guards look flabbergasted. Small droplets of sweat form on their foreheads. "Aye, I'll keep it all right," Garrick hisses. "It's mine. And I'll make sure you fuckers will remember that." Tensions mount as the dwarf points one end of the device toward the guards. And then he looks at you, and it appears to have an effect on him. He sticks the device in his cross belt and shuffles out to the street, mumbling, "Another time." You follow him down the street where he beckons you into a cheap watering hole. An hour later, Garrick and you are sitting idly sipping mushroom wine in the tavern. You have explained to him how you got him out of the Collegium captivity and settled his debt. He's quite calm now, thoughtful even. Perhaps it's time to ask him some questions. Ask about the device. "Oh, this." Puts it on the table, a wooden thing embossed with gold, something like a tiny crossbow without the limbs. "A terrible magic weapon, mate. I use an incantation, and you'll be cursed so bad you'll beg for death." There's a pause. Eventually, Garrick laughs out loud. "Hey, you went pale, mate, did ya?" He laughs for a few more seconds, rubbing his eyes, then leans back in his chair and considers you for a few moments. "It's a pistol, all right. A ballistic weapon. My kin used to be able to make them, using black powder. Very rare these days, as since my ancestors got themselves cooked right and proper.
but some of these little fellas remain, and I got my hands on one. Don't bother trying to buy it or anything. Only I can use it properly, and you'll see how handy it comes. Oh, yeah.
All right. What do you plan to do now?
The plan is... Garrick trails off for a moment. The plan is to get back with his mine, sooner or later. For now, I wouldn't mind getting out of this damn shithole. I suppose you'll want me to work for you. It's fine. I gotta start rebuilding and busying myself.
Well, there you go.
So, the dwarf downs the last few gulps of his drink. I guess you haven't freed me from my good looks and charm, eh? I know how it goes. I'll work for you and you'll see how fucking good I am at what I do. But I ain't working for free. Nah, that ain't me.
You agree on standard wages. Garrick seems content.
It's best I take my leave of the damn shelter for a while anyways. And I got favors to call in all over the region. I'm gonna go grab my stuff. I got some hidden stashes these fuckers never got close to finding. I'll meet you at your mancio.
He must see the doubt on your face because he adds,
I ain't gonna bolt if that's what you're afraid of. A little trust here, eh? I do the same. It ain't easy to put me trust in anyone after what happened.
You leave the watering hole and go about your business. Garrick is a dwarf of his words. You do meet him in the manzio, all packed up and ready to go. So now you have your companions. You go over here and see them. We got Krifta and we got Garrick. And there are just a ton of stats here and all kinds of gas bombs, salvage room, blah, blah, tons of stuff. What we're really interested in is their ability to do this stuff. So some of these abilities, they already you can see this one's already checked. So he gets it for free. And it's the same thing with Krifta. That's why you like him and Krifta, is because both of them have a deputy job for free. You don't have to poke points into this. You can see that this is going to cost you 8 proficiency. So this is the interesting thing. It's got proficiency and then your insight. Your insight is what you earn as you explore places and talk to them and do quests and all this other kind of stuff. So you earn insight. And all this really is you spend insight to build proficiency. So you can see, this proficiency prowess. Prowess indicates how powerful and experienced the companion is. Each time their prowess is raised, they gain proficiency points that you can spend on improving them. To unlock prowess levels 4, 6, and 8, you need to progress the companion's storyline to a certain point. Prowess is capped at 3 in Pilgrims of the Wasteland, which we're not playing, and it costs 4 insight here, and it grants 12 proficiency. So it's not a 1-to-1, but you can see that's how we get more points for them to poke into things here. The important thing is, Krifta has Venatoris, so it's plus 10 hunting base chance, plus 5 forage base chance, and a plus 5 lure away, and opens up an animal equipment slot. Very, very, very nice. And likewise for our other companion. For Garrick, he gets super cargo, which is pretty cool. Plus 15% to cargo, plus 10 to negotiate, and opens up a miscellaneous equipment slot. So very cool. Those are the free ones that you get. So if you go to your deputies, you can see these are open. And if a person, even if you have a slot open, if the person doesn't have that particular deputy job selected, if they haven't put points into it, you can't use it. So for Mr. Supercargo, we'll put him there. And then for her, Venitatus. Oh, and what's it say? What's authority limit is reached? That's right. We can't do both of them because our authority limit has been reached. Now, how many points? It costs 3 to increase this. Okay, we're gonna do that. So we're gonna do that, and that allows us to put that one there, which is great. Okay. All right, I'm gonna make one more save. And now we are ready to leave and be on our way. He trudges towards the city gates. You approach the mighty gates of Torzag's shelter. You can see the scorching desert loom above the cruel black embattlements. As the Comitatus takes its place in a long line at the vast gate, you notice a lean woman dressed in a bureaucrat's tunic and a cape approach one of your guards and talk to him briefly. They walk up to you soon afterward. Apologies, Vagrus, the woman says, bowing her head politely. I work for the Magistrate of Tax Collection. No need to be alarmed. I'm here to present you an opportunity. I have a message attached to some documents that need to be delivered to Arkan, to a client of ours. Should you take the message, you'll be compensated upon handing it over. What do you say? Okay, how long do I have to get to Arkan? Right there. Okay. Well, that's kind of going to force our hand, but let's say we'll do it. How long do we have to do it? Thank you, Vagrus. I'm sure it will be worth your time. Our client is a very resourceful man who works for a researcher of some renown. He awaits his message in the town of Arkan to the north, where he rents a small apartment above a tobacco shop on Siltwade Street. His name is Levantius. And with that, she hands over the leather case, bows her head, and takes her leave. You can see her approach the guards, talk to them briefly, point at you, and then walk away. After storing the case with your personal belongings, you signal the Comitatus to move towards the city gate. Well, let's see. Tasks. So we just have to deliver that whenever we want to. Fast delivery deadline is 7 days, and we will get plus rep. Ooh, 7 days. Okay. Well then. One more save here. Okay, so I like to make a save right before we start traveling. This is when I wish I could pull this map out. I wish I could rotate it around. So if we go on the main road, 7 days for an additional 12 rep. I think we have enough goods here. So let's see, how far can we get? Day number 1, we're on the road. So the best we can do is do that. You'll see this is 0% because we can't hunt on the road. End of the day, no bonuses, no penalties to post those guards. Somebody foraged for a little bit of stuff. Okay, let's race up here on the road some more. And the same kind of thing. Doink. Not much foraging there. All right, now we go over here. We can probably skirt the rest of the road. How close are we? Oh no, we still got a ways to go. If we want that 7-day thing, we better haul butt. Okay, let's go there. Keep an eye on all of this up here. No forages were harmed. Your crew grumbles. It's not a rare thing, as there is always a reason to grumble, but this time they bitch and moan about not getting paid, which is a fairly good reason if there was any. You notice the signs and are quite aware that this cannot go on forever. Otherwise, the least unsettling thing that happens is they start leaving. And then they're going to steal your belongings too, and there are much, much worse alternatives. Alright, so this is something I forgot. You want to pay them now, and you want to just lock this. So pay them at the end of every day. Why it's set up any other way, I'm not exactly sure. I guess they want you to have some flexibility in case you want to not pay them, because if you start to run out of money, then it's accrued upkeep 10 days. Okay. Yeah, so we'll do that. Chunk, everybody gets paid. We're what? Is that the 4th day? Can we actually get there in 7 days? I don't think we can. How much time do we have? Fast delivery deadline in 3 days. Oh, I don't think we're going to make that. So we'll... How are we doing on food? 7 days of food. Okay. Lumen. We could push ourselves. March MP costs. Okay. Can we? Yeah, we can almost get there. We'll do that the next day. All right, we'll camp here. And what we're going to do, since we have plenty of food, let's see. We're going to be able to hunt. We're going to be able to do that. If we do this, what does this do? Is this going to affect... Yeah, it'll affect the morale. Okay. going to do this. Critical failure. Of course. But deadline in 1 day. So let's get up here. We're at Lumen. All right. Travelers, merchants, patrols, and the like move around sluggishly as you approach the settlement, while some of them are just loitering, maybe waiting for something or just merely resting. Yet one group stands out. At the side of the road, you can see a handful of scantily clad people surrounded by men in dark robes. Screams can be heard. There's clearly violence going on, but the rest of the travelers just walk by without paying attention. Upon getting closer, you assess the situation. The men wearing black are without a doubt priests of Surgorod, who are in the process of mercilessly whipping the poor wretches who appear to be slaves. The angry rants of the priests make it clear that this is a punishment for some offense, maybe an escape attempt. Blood soils the dust, and the Surgodites are obviously taking grim pleasure in their brutal work. None of your business. Let's move on. You can try to move the slaves with force. That'll be bad. These people actually end up with a lot of missions. So you behave as all the other travelers and proceed without as much as looking. After all, something like this is a rather unusual sight in the Riven Realms. And it is not too sensible to meddle in the affairs of the Surgodites. The agonizing screams of the slaves and the relentless cracking of the priest's whips continue behind you. Just business as usual in the Empire. Yeah, all right. Now we're here. Lumen. Those persistent enough to travel towards the blinding light and scorching heat of the South Caleras eventually reach the town of Lumen and glimpse its sandstone buildings protected by its shielding wall. Yet most of the settlement was built under the sands, sheltered from the lethal temperatures and unbearable shine of the surface. At night, brigades of prospectors flood the still searing crystal forest to get their hands on as rich a bounty as they can, hauling it back to Lumen's bustling underground markets. Apart from imperial crystal harvesting, the town is famous for its resident crystal mancers, ever delving into the secrets of the Caleras. There's a busy tavern, and there's locals, but first, we're going to go here and get paid. We're going to turn this in. Cha-ching. Alright, free cargo slots. Now, let's see what's available. Oh, and this finally showed up. So look, 4 resourcefulness can be done every 7 days. So why it didn't initially show up, I don't know. I don't know, folks, but it's available now. So there's an escort and an escort. Oh man, and both of these stuck, and they're to go back to Torzag shelter. Oh man, 27 days. Oh, and where's this one at? See, the escort missions are not exactly. Yeah, they're both. Oh my gosh. Okay, so 2 escort missions. So you'd be attacked twice. Oh boy, and there's nothing else good here, is there? Oh man, there's nothing else we can take. Oh, this is when the game likes to totally hose you. Okay, well, that's gonna be interesting. Let's save the game then. All right, so what we want to do here is take a real good look at how tough these are going to be. Combat difficulty approximately 71. Passengers to deliver 3. Combat difficulty there is 85. Okay, and we're currently sitting around 100 with our companions, fighters, and scouts. Which reminds me. Okay, an extra storage, and that goes just in cargo, and we only have 1 cargo slot. That's interesting, because I thought one of my companions here, when it's super cargo, opens up a miscellaneous equipment slot. Oh, okay. So it opens up this. Okay. So under miscellaneous, we could do this. It'd give you +1 outrider combat strength and +1 outrider defense. And it costs you what? 3 brass? Okay. I kind of like that idea. Let's try that. Now, do we have anything for offense? Not really. This is where we're going to want to beef ourselves up for these fights that are going to be coming, because we're going to have to take these jobs. Now, we're going to take these jobs, the 27 and 29 days, and then we're going to flip this and try to get some more and see what we can get. So let's do both of these. We're going to have to fight twice on the way there. Doink and doink. And now, discard the set of tasks for a new one. Let's do it. Do we get anything good? No. Bummer. That's stinky. Okay, in that case, what can we buy for guys? Buy a couple more scouts. Let's see, what do horses cost us? 4, okay. I'd like to have a couple more outriders. Yep, that's using up some stuff. Okay, so what that means is we did not have sufficient working crew. That's fine, we'll get there. We need another fighter and another fighter to protect, because it says, yep. Okay, and now we need workers. And let's go. Bonus ones. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hire one more, because if somebody dies, we've got to be able to do this. We are going to assume some guys are going to die. Now for the amount of dudes that we have, let's see, this is 120 plus another 20 is about 140. And when we outrider them, that number goes up considerably. So that's pretty good. Okay, we're basically going to be going back to Torzak Shelter for a break even. Because of a break even thing. Does anybody want to go to Torzak Shelters? Nope. Larnak. Where's Larnak? Yeah, way over there. Okay. And the Squatty, which is right there. Yeah, we're not going that direction. Okay. Oh boy. So, back to cargo. Let's go here and buy. Let's see. Okay. Let's look at... Now we're going to do the math ourselves. Torzak Shelter. We're in Lumen. Is there anything that we can buy here that we can sell for profit there? Well, let's go back down here and look at the list. Crystals. There's a lot of crystals here. And not much of anything else. Not much of anything else. In that case, what are crystals going to be worth? We can buy them here in Lumen for 7 and 8, and we can sell them for 9 in Torzak Shelter. Okay. Then let's do this. Oh, no. Oh, dang it. Okay, so we made a huge error when it came to buying the goods, the supplies, and then I started trying to sell them back, and your sell price is half of what the buy price is. Remember I said at the beginning of the episode that this is a very bad thing when the buy price is 2 changers instead of 1, and that there was a YouTube person who had said, if you're doing this, you're getting robbed. Well, so I'm going to take a minute here and explain why this is really horrible game design, and I really hope that the developers for Vagrus consider an alternative here. Here's why this is bad. At 2 changers, this is basically robbing you blind, and you're going to spend all of your money on supplies just so that you can try to get to the next town. Now, when we look at the map, we'll just do a little bit of math here. When we're looking to go from one town to the other, if you don't take the roads and try to hunt to supplement what you take for supplies, the rolls are so bad that it's not a guaranteed thing. In fact, it's not even a likely thing that you'll be able to feed your crew to get from here to Torzak Shelter if you crossed across here and didn't take this road, if you just went straight across. So as a strategic tactic, it's a bad idea. It's not just risky, it's a really bad idea. So think about that in strategic terms. What is it when we're looking at a game that has strategy and tactics? We're trying to figure out what is the best optimal path that's going to get me the most rewards, right? Min, max, call it whatever you want to. It's up to the player to learn the mechanics and then make smart decisions so that they can be rewarded. But when you are doing this to the player and forcing this to be 2 changes instead of 1, There is no way for the player to outsmart this as a game mechanic. Think about a game like Dark Souls or Elden Ring. If you run up against a particularly difficult opponent, like say Millennia, she's very, very difficult to kill, but you can learn her patterns and you can defeat her with your intelligence. You can defeat her with your skill. But in a game like this, with a system like this, there's no way to defeat this. And what I'm talking about is this. Imagine that you're in a video game like, let's say, Baldur's Gate 2, and you need to buy some components for spellcasting, or any other game that causes you to need components for spellcasting. If there are multiple places in the same town to buy those spells from, those spell components, then why buy them somewhere where they're expensive when you can go somewhere else across town and buy them for cheaper? The only thing it costs you is time to walk across town and get there. But there's no penalty to you as the player for going and finding the cheapest place to buy something. Here, that doesn't exist. It's not like you can hop over to Arkan and hope that their prices for supplies are cheaper, or that you can run down to here. No, it costs you time, money, supplies, and threats of death to get down there. So this mechanic here, where we're saying, yeah, we're going to rob you blind on the cost of these supplies here, this serves no purpose in the game other than to unjustly penalize the player for no reason. And no amount of player skill or know-how can circumvent this. No amount of player skill can defeat this, because you just spent everything you had getting here. So this is BS. And it makes the game unfun. Now, we're going to get to the second thing and the second problem. Commenter Jamie Weir said, I want to love this game so much. It reminds me of D&D Dark Sun setting, which has always been one of my favorites. I have bounced off the game three different times. I'm looking forward to watching your playthrough. Maybe I can find a way to click with this game. The game has everything in the game that I want, but I just can't connect with it somehow. Good luck. Well, let me tell you what the problem with this game is now that I've spent a bunch of time playing it. It's not fun. It is an incredibly visually neat idea. It's got great artwork. It's a cool game concept. It has a whole bunch of neat components going for it. But the whole point of taking all these really cool ideas and putting them together is to make a game that is fun. And this game is just never fun. It feels like Sisyphus rolling the ball up the hill. Like, it just never gets to the point where it's really entertaining to play. And we're going to see a little bit of that as we proceed on to try to do these missions. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is buy enough supplies to get us there. So, again, maybe there is something that you can hold down. If you hold down control and hit buy, it buys one at a time. If you hold down shift, it buys a full stack. It doesn't fill the current stack that isn't full. Why? I don't know. Again, it's just not optimal UI design, but also we're draining all of our money. At 2 changes, this is just killing us. But what else are we going to do? Because here's the conundrum. You can't sit here in town and make money. There's no way to do it. Oh, sure, you can rest. You can rest, trade local news for a couple of changes. You could sit here and rest and try to do odd jobs, and you'll make pennies. It's like less than panhandling. I mean, you can't stay. So you have to go. You have to go take the jobs, and you have to go do them, and you have to keep moving. Well, okay. So we're going to do that, but at the same time, we're going to punish the player with this system. Why? Don't worry, it gets worse. All right, so we're going to look at equipment. One thing I want to buy here is this gives +1 to Outrider combat strength and +1 to Outrider defense. It's not going to make a big difference, but we're going to buy this. And the reason we're going to buy this is because we can put this in a miscellaneous slot there. And you'll know what I mean later when I start talking about why it doesn't matter. We have 5 horses. We have enough people to take care of them. We have 14 fighters. we're going to get on the road, but first we have to make sure we take these missions. So we're going to take these, both of them. They're escort missions. We don't have enough people now, it says. You can see right here your passengers, who you have, what they offer you. Okay. So we're going to go back here. We're going to go to people. We're going to say we're going to hire a couple more fighters. We still have enough workers to handle them. We're actually going to hire 2 more. And the reason we're going to do that is because we know some people are going to die. So that's one of the important things to understand here is that we know people are going to die. We can handle up to 13.52 on the workforce. So we can't hire any more fighters. We've tapped this place out. So let's go over here and we're going to spend this to try to get more missions. Maybe we can get lucky and get a cargo mission to the same place that we're going to, back to Torzag Shelter. It's not going to happen, but we're going to try. Okay, we did it and we got nothing. That's fine. More of the game trying to punish the player. It's all right. Okay. We've got everything that we can possibly do. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to save the game. All right, I have saved it. Now, here's what we're going to do. We have 4 of 7 travel left, and what we want to try to do, we can do a couple things here. We have to pay for our group. We have 7 days worth of goods. We can try to get there. We can try to make hunting happen on our way. And we can try to turn some kind of profit with our cargo hold. So we can go over here. The only thing that they really have is crystals, which we know we can get for a slight profit in Torzag Shelter. So let's buy some of those. But remember, we got to pay our guys, and we're going to be running out of money on the way there. So we can't buy too many of these. I'm going to buy that many. I'm going to buy 1 more. That's it. All right, let's go. So we're going to leave, and we're going to camp. Now, here is where things get to be very painful for me personally, having played the game quite a bit with a couple different characters and gotten much further with one of them than another one. The systems in this game do not make sense to me. And you who have watched my channel for a long time know that I can deal with a lot as long as I can make sense of the game mechanics and the systems at play. Here's what I'm talking about. We are fatigued, it says. Now, look at this. We're exhausted, but then when we go to camp, it says fatigued. So what I'm assuming is this is the state we're going to be in when we're done camping. Now, what I would really like to see is 2 columns. What you are, or change it up here. Make this reflective of your current situation and make this reflective of what you're going to be after you camp. That would help everybody who's new to this game make sense of these systems. Because this is the problem right now, is that it doesn't make sense. And I don't want to get ranty here because I really appreciate the developers giving me a free key for this. But this is the part where the game breaks down for me and starts to become really unfun. We're going to be fatigued. Now, how do we... Obviously, we don't want this. -5 combat strength and -10% defense. We don't want when we're on escort missions and we know we're going to be attacked. There are no bonuses and no penalties for posting the guards. You need 10 fighters and outriders combined. You have 16. Okay. Now, post guards. We get extra obedience and morale. We lower the chance of ambush. You need 15 fighters. Okay. But it doesn't help me raise my vigor at all. Now, this is where it really doesn't make sense. Post no guards, +1 to vigor and -1 obedience and -1 morale. Now look at this. It says -1 morale, which it considers. This is another part that's confusing. Okay, so that's your morale right here. Steady. Okay. Steady. Yeah, and here it is right here with an icon instead of the word. Okay. And it says distressed. So we're going to get -10 combat strength and -5 max movement. -10% combat strength because I'm trying to raise vigor to fresh, but then we're going to be screwed here. I don't understand this or why they do it this way. You would think that if your crew was fed and paid and rested, everything would go up. That's the whole point of trying to make sure that you have enough supplies and enough money to pay people, is that you want these numbers to go up. But how do we make them go up? It seems to me like they've intentionally coded it to be a tug of war between these things. Why? That just makes the game punishing to play, which is the opposite Hello, it's the opposite of fun. So right away, we're kind of breaking the cardinal rule of gameplay, which is people play games to have fun. Now, there are many other reasons people play games. They want to be immersed in an immersive sim, or they want to unwind, or they want to detach from reality, or it's escapism, or it's fantasy. It allows them to act out fantasy, whatever. All of those reasons sit below the number one reason, which encompasses all of them. It's the umbrella for the whole thing, for a game to be fun. And this is not fun. Watching these systems have to fight back and forth amongst each other, as a player, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, how do I get all of these to go up? Are you telling me that I can't? That it's impossible? Why is my fatigue, why is the maximum amount of my fatigue, it says your max vigor can be 9. Yeah, but you're never going to get there. Oh, you can bonus rations, but it feed 200% rations. Okay, it doesn't tell you on this tooltip what the result of that is going to be. Why would I want to do that? The UI is not going to tell us because it wants to be frustrating. Look, we can go there and say, okay, your nutrition is well fed. You'll get +1 max vigor. Well, that doesn't help me. My max is already 9. I don't care about that. I want to be able to do something. As a player in these strategic type of games, what you want to be able to do is press buttons to improve things. And you want to figure out what sequence, what order do I need to press these buttons in to get the maximum amount of return on my investment? How do I min-max this? How do I make it work? And this whole system is set up, designed in such a way as to purposely make it not work, so that no amount of your knowledge, intelligence, or skill is going to make you successful at doing this. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that game design philosophy, just like I don't understand making rations 2 changers in a city so that it can bleed you dry. What's the point? Because now I have to go back to my previous save, all the way back to Torzag Shelter, and say, yeah, guys, guess what? We can't go to Lumen because their price for rations is crap. But even though that was the only place where we could actually take a mission that was any good. Like, what's the point of that? We're playing a game now where we have to be clairvoyant, and if we don't, we just have to load saves all the time because, oh yeah, that was obviously a really bad choice. We just didn't know that until we got there. Now what do? Do we put Lumen on the blacklist and say, yeah, don't ever go to that place because the cost of rations is going to rob you blind? What are we doing here? So this doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm really, really frustrated by it because no amount of... Look at this. So this will make your morale go up. Okay. So I get a vigor back and a morale by going to 150. But I can't get any more morale for going to 200%? That seems... There's no difference here between these two. So why does 200% exist if it doesn't give you a bonus over 150%? What's the point? We're trying to figure out how to get these things maxed out so that when we actually get to fighting, we don't have to put up with these penalties. But the game doesn't want you to. It wants you to limp. It doesn't want you to run. But I've been playing video games for 51 years of my life, and I'm telling you folks, it's fun to run. I can't run in real life. I suck at it. I play video games to succeed and have fun. The success is the fun. I play games to do really fun stuff. And playing a game that feels like it's trying to stab you in the calf and cut your artery is not fun. This isn't fun, guys. So I don't get it. Now, look, see, so we do this, we're trying to get one of these vigor back, but if we do that, look what happens. We still take one down here. We still lose one down here no matter what. So the only way we do that is by not sending anybody out. This is just frustratingly dumb. Okay, so now we're finally gonna get show some fighting. Yeah, all right. So the warrior cries. Yeah, okay. Crew combat encounters the whole Comitatus fights. Yeah, you can see your crew strength and defense, and click on flee. Blah blah blah. Okay, so we're going to fight. We have a very high chance of success. They have 56 offense and 8 defense. We have 139 offense and 18 defense, and we're going to change this a little bit as we move forward here. So you need to set your goal for the fight. Your options are off limited based on the type of enemy you're fighting. All right. Well, what we want to do is defend equally everybody. Now what we're going to do is go over here and we're going to mount our outriders. All right, combat typically lasts 3 rounds, and this thing's just going to keep popping up, and I don't want to read it all right now because I'm frustrated. I just want to move on. So what it does by going to outriders is it gives you more offense and defense. So we're hoping to overwhelm them. Now you can see the numbers up here on the screen. We go from 57% success and 8% critical to 62% success, and our failure rate just drops. The criticals don't change on either end, but we do this. So we can arm our people that we're taking along with us, and we can arm our slaves if we want to, but I don't really want to do any of that. These people can stay back here and be protected, all this kind of stuff. So now you have a chance to take an action, and combat actions can flip the game, but guess what? You want to make sure that you really want to make sure you have vigor for it. This is why vigor is so important. And this is why, even though you have a max of 9 vigor, too bad, it's not going to matter. Because you're never going to get that high. So a lot of these things, like flanking offensive, it's going to cost you 1 vigor and 3 resourcefulness, -5 as a second action, and you're going to get plus 10 critical success margin. So I would assume this means that goes up to 18%, plus 20% damage, and -10 grit. I still don't understand what grit is yet, because, it just doesn't. I think this is a word they're using that means something else. I don't understand. So, and there's a bunch of these choices here. Concentrated defense, plus 10 to critical fail margin. I don't want that to happen. 200% player ward. So I don't understand what that means either. Player ward. You hover over it, nothing is shown. I don't know what it means. Again, words that are meaningless. They don't mean anything. What player ward? That's usually a ward is usually a spell in video games. Do we get a spell? Why would we have a critical fail margin if we're getting more defense? I don't understand. A bunch of different things. Makeshift barricade, -2 resourcefulness, -4 is the second action, and you get plus 50 defense. Well, that sounds nice. Does that mean it's the total defense? It's going to go from 28 to 159? I kind of like that. Let's do that, because it's not going to cost us any vigor, and we still have a fight that we have to do after this one. So we do that, and it goes to 78. Well, that's nice. And so you can deactivate it. That's cool. You can also go into companion combat, eliminate the leaders, have at least 1 companion, enemy not fleeing or retreating, deploy maximum of 2 companions. Only cost you resourcefulness, additional grit damage in the case of victory, morale loss, and defeat. So you can only activate one of these things at a time, I think. Maybe you can activate more, but I don't think so. Oh, you could probably do, yeah. Maybe you could activate that and that one. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to do this. So now we're going to fight and watch a bunch of our people die. So we lost 2 scouts and a warrior, and it's round 2. And what do these guys do? They're retreating. Enemy attributes. They're retreating, -50 combat strength, -25 defense. They're born killers, so they get plus 10 something. Plus 10 damage. It looks like it says that, but the damage is in black, so you can't see it. It's secret damage. Nobody can see it. They're mounted. It's the plus 20 chase, plus 20 flee. They get poor quality weapons. So we are defending equally. Oh no. And so now we can do a separate action this time. So now we don't have anything else to do. All we can do is shield wall defensive. -2 resourcefulness, have at least 10 fighters, +1 fighter defense, -1 fighter combat strength. Okay. Any other actions we can take? So none of the other ones we can. For instance, we can't demoralize, -3 resourcefulness, -5 is the second action. We don't have enough for a second action, so we can't do it. That's what the second action thing is for. -5 is the second action there. So most of these are -5 is the second action. So if we had 5 of this, we could do another one of these, which is kind of cool. So we could go up to here, shield wall, defensive, -2 resourcefulness, and we can get +1 defense, +1 fighter defense. It's on an individual level and adds this to 33. So why don't we do that? We're going to pursue these guys to finish them off. And we lost more guys still. Great. Okay. Well, they're done. All right, your crew tends to the wounded in the heal phase, rolling for the recovery of each unit one by one. So, severely wounded units can only be healed with critical success. Every healing attempt has a chance to consume a medical kit. This is the other thing, is we have no med kits and I don't know where to buy them. I was looking around for those and I couldn't find them. So, another part of the game. All right, heal. They're crossed out. Killed or wounded crew. So this character is now wounded. Your companions are wounded. Don't make the mistake that I did of thinking that these characters die easily. We did get some supplies, and we got some ivory, and we got some hides, so that was nice. So move on. All right. So now, and we still can't move this, which is just aggravating because I want to see this portion of the map, and I don't care about what we're leaving behind. Okay. More frustration. All right, so what we need is +1 vigor. Well fed. Okay, if we do this, let's do that. We're going to feed everybody and nobody's going to have to work tonight so that we can get everybody ready for the next day. And I think you can go in here and do what? Can you do anything in this? Can't we do anything to our companion? Can we try to heal them in any way? No. So I think we just got to wait for them or something to get better. All right. Krifta healed to hurt. Okay, well, hopefully Krifta will be in a little better position here before too long. Another day passes by. Okay, so now we could be fresh. See, this is what I don't understand. So if I do this, it says distressed, and this appears as fresh. Okay. Like, it's just... It just doesn't make any sense. Please make it make sense. By default, without having to consult outside sources, this UI should make sense, and it doesn't. So we're going to lose an obedience and a morale here. So if we do this and post no gods, like, what is the optimum thing to do here? I don't know. You can get obedience and morale there. I'd like to be, yeah, so steady. What about this? 0. There's no reason to go up there. There's no reason to go to this and get these penalties because it's going to make our vigor go down. Okay. And see, and this is why I was talking about the supplies. This happens all the time. Failure is basically the most common outcome when you're foraging. And when you're foraging and hunting. So, and if you get lucky enough, here's the other thing. Let's take a look at this. Our cargo's full. So let's say you get lucky and get a critical roll of supplies, like 500. Okay, it's going to top off this one thing here, and then the rest of it is wasted. You can't use the surplus that you get to bump it up during a rest. So remember when we're here resting and we're like, yeah, I'd like to use 200%. But you can't. This is the part that doesn't make any sense to me, is that if I get lucky hunting on a critical and get a whole bunch of supplies, it doesn't automatically bump your nightly meal up to a maximum of 200%. Instead, they just get left there rotting on the ground when you leave. So please, someone tell me why that's good game design. Because it doesn't feel like it to me. Okay, so now we got the next group of bozos coming at us. High chance of success. They're 64 and 19. Oh, and the other thing is we left our outriders on, which we shouldn't have done. Okay, outriders up. 120 actions. Let's see if we can find something that only costs 2 for the first time. We can cost us a vigor and it'll be fine, I think. Cost us 3 resourcefulness, though. I don't want to do that. This costs us 3. Does anything cost us 2? For first, 2 resourcefulness, makeshift barricade. Okay, yeah, that's the only one. The other is counterattack, which is 3. Mounted charge, which is 3. And then there's the companion combat thing, and I don't want to get into that. So I'm going to do makeshift barricade and try to do it. Makeshift barricade, activate, please. Thank you. 75 defense. All right, let's fight. We lost a scout, and we lost an outrider. They are Slayer, Content, Target. Okay, so they're still fighting. All right, well, then we're going to go to... We can't do makeshift barricade because only in the first crew... Only in the... Have at least 10 workforce. Only in the first crew combat round. cull their ranks. Have at least one companion. Enemy not fleeing, retreating. Deploy maximum of 2 companions. 0 resourcefulness. Cull their ranks with your best. Sure, let's try this. Let's do this so you can see it, because I don't know that I'm going to be playing this game beyond... Oh my god, it's going to be what, 2-on-4? Oh, you're joking me. What? What does this button do? I don't know what that's doing. Oh my god. And there's no way to, like, fix this? I want to move him up. I can't. It's just so poorly done. Jesus. We didn't even know how... See, I would have liked to have known how many guys I was going to fight. And 2 against 4 isn't fun. But the UI is not going to tell you. This is why I made the comment that I made on Twitter. The developers got defensive. It's like, you know, you guys don't understand. The UI is the most important thing that you can do for new players, to give them the information that they can need so that they can make smart decisions. Otherwise, we're just left to sit here feeling like dupes, like dummies. I don't like it when a game makes me feel like a dumbass. I can't make a smart decision without information. Please stop playing me for a fool. Please stop making me feel like I have the IQ of a turd. Like, I just can't stand that. Gosh. A gas bomb. Several enemies. Okay. So, what happened there? Aimed shot. Bypassing armor with deadly efficiency. Pain-inducing poison. Okay. I can only shoot at this one guy. He's not getting... Misses. Okay, now, see, I don't understand why a guy is going to go in certain order. Here's the order up here. I don't understand what's affecting that, but... Suppressing shots. Overwatches a spot with a precise aim shot. Oh, that'd be nice. Okay. Who else do we want to try to poison? This guy? We can't poison him. What about this shot? All I can do is shoot. Okay. I blocked it, but I still took 2 damage. Tell me what this is. Okay. Locked and loaded. Poison damage. Yeah, but last time it didn't hit, so. Produces a random enchanted rune against a foe. Will it harm them? Will it harm them with a question mark? Because we don't want the player to be able to make smart choices. We'd like to just leave it up to the fate of whatever. I hate this. I absolutely hate this. I play games so that I can pit my intelligence against the design of the game, not so that I can pit my intelligence and take it and stuff it in a dark black box and stuff it at the bottom of the basement and fill it with cement. Say, nope, don't worry, you don't need that. You won't need your brain on this one, because guess what? Fate's just going to take over. For Christ's sake. Yeah, this stinks. 2 against 4, that was a lot of fun. So these guys are gonna die, and I don't even care. And that's the thing, I really just don't care. Really don't care. Look at this. This is absurd, and there's no... Can I retreat? I can't do anything. He's dead. We're gonna be soon, too. No, for 0. Oh, he's dead. He's down and out. Okay, guys. That was really fun. Oh, my poor guy. Well. Keep shooting, honey. What do you guys think? Do you think this game is fun? Or is it just me? I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments of like, you just don't get the game. You just don't understand how to play, man. Yeah, I know. That's why I keep griping about the UI. Because it should be providing me with all the information so that I can put my intelligence to use to figure it out. What is the best way to do things? Yeah, sure. I'll pursue everybody. I'm angry now. Destroyed. Killed or wounded. Oh, I lost my companions. Look at that. That was stunning. That was so amazing. Or did I not lose them? Oh, severely wounded, 20 days. Okay, so they're not really dead. Wow, maybe a different display on the UI would let you know they're not dead like everybody else. Maybe. God, somebody hire these guys a UI designer. So now we're at 10.10 out of 8.9 because we lost a bunch of people. We want to take the Outriders off because it costs more to feed them. All right. No, can't go anywhere. We're just forced to camp right here. All right. So now we're shattered. We're shattered. We want our vigor to go up. We want our morale to go up. We can get morale up there for a cost of vigor. We can spend this. Sure. What's that? Oh, that's going to cost us though. No, let's do that. Okay. Healed to hurt. Yay. That's wonderful. Now we'll see if we can get our numbers back up. Oh, perhaps you can turn things around. Moderate chance of success. 16. You managed to avert or prevent the worst things. Your Comitatus isn't dead yet, but they're on their way because they're distressed and exhausted. Yeah, I'd like them to not be. Okay, so if we do this... this is supposedly this is what it'll be afterwards. I really hate this. This should be your current status. This should be what's going to happen after you camp. That's just not rocket science, guys. What do we have for food? 8 days? So we can afford to do this, and what's it do? It's going to change them to nourished from well-fed, where I don't care about the maximums. I need the actual things to go up. That's what this food thing should do. It shouldn't push your maximum up. It should push your current one up. Who cares if your max is 9 if your vigor is always 4? Nobody gives a damn about a 9 maximum. All right, everybody, I'm going to apologize. I'm voicing over the rest of this because the video gets very ranty from this point forward, and that's not what I want to have on the channel. As most of you know, I like to fashion myself as the Bob Ross of gaming, and I like that people want to come to my channel to watch me play video games and to hear my voice and to just enjoy a chill, relaxing environment. And Vagrus is not it. I'm very disappointed in this game. First of all, I want to say thank you to the developers for giving me a key, because the Twitter interaction that allowed me to get the key was actually really fun, and I was really looking forward to playing this, and I was hoping I was going to enjoy it. Unfortunately, I don't think the game is where it needs to be in order to be fun. I think there are some pretty fundamental flaws with the game. It was in early access for a long period of time, and I think it needed to stay in early access because it's not there yet. For starters, the biggest thing that is a problem with this game is the directed graph. Let me explain. In 4X games and strategy games and tactical games and turn-based games, any game where you have to make a lot of decisions, those decisions need to be based on a whole bunch of input for you, and then you're trying to figure out the path through the directed graph that results in a win. And that can be something as simple as surviving the next turn, or surviving a particular battle like in XCOM or whatever. Directed graph is part of game design. The whole idea is that at each particular node through the graph, you're making a decision, and some of those decisions that you can potentially make may lead to failure, and other decisions may lead to success. And so then you move on to the next node in the graph, and again, more decisions. Some may lead to failure, some may lead to success. with Vagrus, what they've done here is they have reduced the nodes in the graph to such a point that there really is, at least in the beginning of the game, only one right way, one correct way to get through the graph. And sometimes there isn't even that path. Case in point, we were in Lumen and there were only 2 missions for us to take. We had to take these escort missions to come back to Torzak Shelter. Now, that on the surface looks like it's the only decision we could have made. There is another. We could have instead not taken any missions and just loaded up our caravan with crystals and then gone back down the Torzak Shelter and sold them and hoped that we made enough profit that we could then take some missions at Torzak and continue the cycle. But that really was the only good decision we could have done, is to load ourselves up with crystals. The failure decision was what we just did, because we started out with 41 brass when we left Lumen, and now we're down to 27 and we've lost guys. So instead of having a directed graph with a whole bunch of decision points on it, we're left with a graph that really has one path through it. And I can attest to this fact because when I was playing the game with a different character, I got up to 101 brass really easily, really quickly, and I had no more control and understanding over the systems of the game then than I do now. It was just blind luck that I happened to find the one correct path all the way through the graph. That is not fun. Games like this become fun when there are a bunch of decisions to be made and it's incumbent upon us, the player, to figure out the best path through the graph. And we can do that when we're given tons of information and we can sit there and make logical, smart decisions and say, oh, this is the best way to do it. I think one of the things that Vagrus could do to make the game considerably better, especially in the early going of the game, is just to offer a factor of 10 more missions than what's available. Showing up in a place like Lumen and only having 2 missions for us to go through the game, only having 2 missions that we can choose, is absurd. It's reducing all of the nodes in the graph for us, which is no fun. I would like to see the game have many more options for choosing contracts so that we could look at a map and we could see all these different potential paths for us to go and say, well, there's risk in these 3 or 4, but this one over here and this one over here look really smart and look profitable. Let's do one of these. That would be fun. In conjunction with that, the user interface for this game is just not where it needs to be yet. It's not conveying enough information. Case in point, when we decided to do companion combat, it didn't tell us how many enemies we were going to face. But that is some seriously critical information for the player. If I knew I was going to face 4 or 5 enemies instead of 2, I wouldn't have taken just my 2 guys into companion combat. And I was under the assumption that I should be able to bring more of my guys with me. I have a whole bunch of fighters on my Comitatus. Why couldn't I take some of them with me? Instead, it ends up being 2-on-4 or 2-on-5 and we get smoked. All because we weren't allowed to make a smart decision because the user interface didn't give us all the information. That is replete throughout this game. The user interface is simply not providing enough of the information to new players. I'm sure that the developers, because they've been working on this game for years, know the game inside and out, and so the knowledge is inherent in them. They know everything already. But that doesn't count. You have to be able to convey the information to new players, and the game simply does not do a good enough job of it. In every area, it's missing information all over the place. And finally, one small, tiny little nitpick to just throw onto the heap. This is a game with a whole lot of reading, and the misuse of punctuation throughout is really grating on my nerves. These guys need to hire an editor, somebody who knows writing, and fix this, because it is as disturbing to me as reading some self-published works in the literary world with people who don't engage editors and don't know how to edit, can't do line edits, can't do copy edits, and I just can't read that stuff. So this game has a lot of promise. I like the setup. I like the idea. You know, it's very similar to War Tales, as I said in the first episode, except it's not a fully 3D rendered environment. It's not an isometric top-down view for all the fights. It's much different in that respect in how it's executed. But it's the similar idea. I love the idea of a Comitatus. I love the idea of trying to make your way and make a living and make an earning and make a life for yourself doing this. But the execution in this game is not good. And the biggest problem is it's just not fun. So until they figure out a better balance with the directed graph and with player choice and with player agency and with players being able to absorb a bunch of information, being able to provide the player with information so the players can make smart decisions, so players can say, aha, here are the paths to success, or here are the most likely paths to success from the current city that I'm in. Until that happens, this game isn't going to be fun. Along with that, I think I already spoke in this video about the problem with the rations and the problem with hunting and the problem with surplus just being left on the ground and the problem with the way the various attributes work against each other. Your vigor working against whatever. All of these things are having a tug of war, and it's no fun. It's no fun for the player because we're trying to figure out a way to optimize things. We're trying to figure out a way to be successful. And at every turn, the game is making sure that you're not going to be. It's not just that you're not smart enough or you're not talented enough or you don't have enough information. The game really acts like it doesn't want you to succeed. I don't find that compelling or fun or engaging. So, Vagrus, a game that I will not be putting on the channel and playing anymore. I'll certainly keep my eye on it. I want to know if the developers are going to make changes over time and make the game more fun. I don't know that they will. I think the whole idea that the game was quote unquote hard or punishing is a little bit of a misnomer. I don't think it's hard because it's hard. I think it's hard because the developers don't have a fully baked game yet, and because they're not conveying enough information for the players so that they can figure out how to have fun with the game. I do think it's punishing. I think that's accurate. I think it's unjustly punishing. There are games like Dark Souls that can be punishing, but the player can get good and get better at it. In this case, no amount of getting better is going to make this game more enjoyable for you. So that's all I'm going to have to say right now. I'm sorry this is such a bummer. I know everybody was looking forward to this. I was looking forward to this, doing this more on my channel. I really wanted to play it, but it's not going to happen. So for now, you know the thing. Likes, subs, consider supporting my Patreon. It's in the description below. We are going to start getting some merchandise. Patrons will have first shots at those. I'm very excited about it. There's going to be some new artwork for the channel. I'm excited about that. Until then, happy gaming, everyone, and I mean that wholeheartedly. If you're not having fun with a game, don't play it. So play happy, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, everybody.